As you read in the title, 1080p is dying slowly because PC builds for 1440p are getting cheaper and cheaper. And this is one of them because I will show you an $850 gaming PC build that's actually pretty good for 1440p. And don't worry if your budget is under $800 because in this video I will also explain on how to make this PC cheaper without losing much performance, and also how to make it a bit more expensive for better performance or better aesthetics. That's why it's really important for you to watch this whole video if you want to learn the best configurations for this PC build. You will have all the links for this PC build with downgrades and upgrades down below in the video description. That said, let's start. Now for the CPU, I picked the AMD Ryzen 5 5600. This is a 6-core 12-thread processor that is going to get the job done at $160. Now, when I picked this processor, which was yesterday, it was around $140, so $20 cheaper. The market prices are changing every single day, so if you're seeing this video and this CPU is cheaper or more expensive, then I'm sorry, but it's not in my control. Anyway, this is a great CPU and you can consider going with the 12400F, but it is going to cost you more considering that the motherboard as well is going to be more expensive. Then for the CPU cooler, I picked the ID Cooling SE214XT. This is a good RGB air cooler that is going to get the job done. Once again, with this type of CPU, you're going to have a more quiet experience and better in terms of aesthetics because of the RGB. Then for the motherboard, I picked the MSI Pro B550M BC with Wi-Fi included micro ATX motherboard. This is only $100 and it's a great motherboard for this type of build, and on top of that it has Wi-Fi included, so if you don't have an Ethernet cable, then don't worry about it, even though I do recommend you connecting your PC with an Ethernet cable if you want the best speeds. For the memory kit, I picked the cheap Silicon Power Gaming 16GB kit. This is a 2x8 DDR4 at 3200 MHz type of RAM, which is basically the standard. And then for the storage, I picked the Western Digital Blue 1TB of M.2 NVMe SSD. 1TB, once again, the standard. You can go with more if you feel like you need a bunch of games and you want to have them installed all at once, then you can go with more. And also, if you play only esports titles where it doesn't take much storage, you can go with less and save a couple bucks. Then for the GPU, the most important part on this gaming PC is going to be the MSI Mech RX 6650 XT. This is an 8GB VRAM graphics card and it's excellent for 1440p gaming. Of course, if you want a better performance at 1440p, I would recommend you upgrading to either the 6800 or the RTX 3070 to see a huge difference, but those are going to be much more expensive. And if you want a graphics card from Nvidia at the same price, the closest is going to be the RTX 3050. And trust me, do not get that graphics card instead of this one, especially for 1440p gaming resolution. That GPU, it's around 35% slower than the 6650 XT, so for gaming, do not buy the 3050 instead of the 6650 XT at the same price. So if you want an Nvidia graphics card for 1440p, then I recommend you the RTX 3060 Ti, and it's going to be much more expensive than this one. So I think that this GPU for 1440p gaming is going to be the best choice in terms of price and performance. But if you want to go for Nvidia at 1440p and you also want to do some content creation because encoder is going to be better, or you want to take advantage of DLSS, even though AMD graphics cards have FSR, but it's not as good, and then maybe you want some level of ray tracing, then yes, go ahead and spend that money on an Nvidia GPU, but I wouldn't recommend it if your main goal is gaming and just gaming. Then for the case, I picked the Thermaltake B150. This is a micro ATX case with a front mesh panel, really good airflow, and you get 3 fans pre-installed for $80, so a great deal. And then for the power supply, I picked the Superflower LEADX 3 Super Pro. This is a 650 watt 80 plus bronze power supply and is fully modular, which is a good thing, for only $55. This is a B tier rated power supply, so you won't be risking any components at all. So this is the PC, and if you want to see the exact performance on your favorite game, I recommend you searching the benchmarks for the RX 6650 XT and the Ryzen 5 5600. You will have a link down below in the video description to those benchmarks. So in total, this PC is going to cost you around $850, maybe a bit less, maybe a bit more, depending on when you're watching this video, but overall it's a really good price for a good 1440p gaming desktop. Now I'll show you on how to make this PC cheaper for $750 and get the same exact performance. So the first thing that you want to do is take out the cooler. Do not buy the CPU cooler, you can get away with the stock AMD be cooler for the 56 Downgrade. It's just not going to be as quiet and as nice, but that is the only thing that you're going to be losing, and you're going to be saving 20 bucks from that. Then the other thing that I would downgrade is the storage. I will go with 500 gigs of SSD, where you save $40, and 500 gigs is enough to get you started. However, I would still recommend a terabyte, especially if you're the type of person that downloads a bunch of games. And then to save an extra 10 bucks or so, I downgraded the case to the Thermaltake Divider 170TG. This is as well a great case with good airflow and a front mesh panel, and it is going to be cheaper, so I do recommend you downgrading that as well. And then the total price is going to be around $750. Once again, a bit less or a bit more depending on when you're watching this video, but the performance is going to be the same. The next huge downgrade that I recommend you doing if you really have to is the CPU. I will go with the i3 12100F, and of course you have to change the motherboard. So by going with the CPU and let's say the Gigabyte B660M-DDR4 motherboard, you're going to be saving an extra 30 bucks, and the total price will be $720. But it's worth to mention that you're losing gaming performance here. But anyway, if you really have to do this downgrade, then go ahead and do it. This will be a good 1440p PC build, still just a bit worse than the one that I recommend you buying. However, do not make this downgrade if you're going to do content creation and streaming as well. Now, I will recommend you two upgrades. One is going to be for aesthetics and the other one is going to be for performance. So if you're the type of person that wants the best performance, then I recommend you the second one upgrade. But if you're the type of person that wants a better PC overall, and we are not talking about gaming, then the first one might be the best one for you. First, I'm going to go over with the aesthetic upgrades. I do recommend you going with the Silicon Power X Power RGB 32 gigs of RAM. Here you're going to get RGB RAM that is also going to be better for streaming and multitasking. So if you want to open a bunch of tasks or play games that are really high RAM demanding, then this upgrade makes a lot of sense. And the other upgrade that I make is the CPU to the i5 12400. This is a better CPU than the 5600, and because we get the 12400 and it's the non-F version, we also get a CPU that's more capable of content creation and video editing. So if you want to do some content creation on the side, then this upgrade will make much more sense because you get more RAM and a better CPU, which are two components that are really important for content creation. But if you're just going to do gaming, then I wouldn't really recommend you upgrading the CPU from the 5600 to the 12400. Anyway, this upgrade is going to cost you around 60 extra bucks. And then if you want the best performance out of a gaming desktop, then the only thing that I recommend you upgrading is the GPU to the RX 6700 XT. This is around a 12% faster than the 6650 XT, and if you want the GPU from Nvidia, then the RTX 3060 Ti is going to be really similar in price and performance. It's actually going to be a bit worse in most games, but you get the Nvidia features. And actually, if you want to go for the 3070 at the same price, then I recommend you buying it on the used market from eBay. They're going at around 380 bucks, so around the same price of the 6700 XT, and this is around 16% faster than the 6700 XT and 29% faster than the 6650 XT. So that is the major upgrade for performance, especially if you go with that 3070. It's going to give you much more FPS and you get some features that you don't get on the AMD GPUs. Anyway, you will have, like I said before, all the links for Nvidia alternatives GPUs down below as well, from both the used market and also brand new GPUs, so you should definitely check out the video description. And if you want the best budget DDR5 Intel 13th Gen gaming PC, which is much more expensive than this one, but it's still one of the cheapest options for that new Intel 13th Gen, then I do recommend you watching my video about it. You will have it in the top right of the screen. I highly recommend you watching that video if you want the new i5 13600K. And if you found this video helpful, leave a like and subscribe. Most importantly, hit that bell button so you get notified when I upload this type of videos. And I also try to upload posts when I find good deals on the market for both Prebuilt PCs and PC builds. And sometimes I give you some more information about new stuff coming. So I highly recommend you hitting that bell button. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.